this feeling I can leave. I'm working and I'm leaving. Will you dare to give it over and walk by my side? Do you see the road? Do you hear its call? Do you want a part of it? Just getting me above now. Just getting me
Organizations trying to usher in a one-world government where foreign billionaires control everything we do. We have a message for you power-hungry globalists. You overplayed your hand. We see you. We know your plans. And guess what?
We are ready. We are united. We are ready. See you on May 20th.
On that weekend, the Bilderberg Club are meeting in Lisbon, Portugal for their because we are ready. In just 3 years, billions of innocent people were put on house arrest, stripped of their human rights, bombarded with repetitive fear propaganda, forced to choose between their job and trial drugs, cancelled, silenced, and bullied for asking questions. Now, in 2023, we're dealing with inflation we can't afford, rising energy prices, climate change propaganda, cancel culture and division, intrusive surveillance, and increasing death rates. You can threaten us as much as you want, but we have this message for you. We are many, we are united, and we are ready. Enough is enough. We are no longer afraid of you and your evil plans. So bring it on. Any group or person can host one of these events in their city. You can also help us spread the word or check to see if there's already an event in your area. Head to www.weareready.world for all the info.
Weareready.world for all the info to register your event for the weekend, May 20th. It's a global event. It is not a protest. It is an opportunity for groups to get together and show their alliance and show their strength in the clown world that we're currently living in. Now, sorry about the little pause there. We've had a few internet connections. This is actually the second attempt at this broadcast. I was kicked off the internet again. It's only ever when I do these broadcasts I get kicked off the internet. Like literally, my internet is cut. But yeah, that's what you get in the big city and the big jobs. So here we are. So we have part 2 of the interview with Robert Deutsch, and let's get straight into it. May I interrupt with a question there, Robert? My name's Jason. I have a little web series called State of the Nation. Now, what are the different variations of chemtrailing and chem bombing and HARP? How many different variations do you think there are?
Well, there, that's the big loaded question, isn't it? But undisclosed program, it's like trying to say plausible deniability things, you know, so to speak. But what I've noticed, I see jet plane methods. I could prove fireworks by planes all day, like flares in low altitude. But, you know, what's up there in these high altitudes, it being done by that Cessna down here at G-Line, you know, over in Australia. The people say it's like they don't operate at that altitude. Drones might be able to, but not a combustion engine. You have to have differences, right? You have different kind of catalysts and stuff. So I've noticed that method, the firework method, seems to be the most prevalent. Is that one is what I'm seeing. And sometimes they're even like letters in the sky, and I'm like, well, I've seen that at 4th of July. You know, they put USA or anything, you put your initials in the sky with a firecracker. those little stars things that they call them are just little round things with a chemical in it that glows, and you just project it out into any shape. I watch it all day long. And it's very high altitude gondolas that are doing it. Has to be. And the Scope X ones, they said they inflate. They're over 100 yards long, like a football field. Are you going to see a football field from 10 miles up? I don't think so. Only if it's glowing inside. And people catch a reflection sometimes on it. Oh, it's an orb or this and that. I say, it's chem bomb balloon. And one's floating across America. Everybody's saying it's spy balloon. I said, those look just like Project Loon. That's another one that was funded by our oppressors in the name of sending 5G mobile over the top of us. They were testing other things because before they mothballed Project Moon, I was finding plumes going behind them. Yeah, and that's different than the jet plane method, which I've never seen a switch in a cockpit. I've flown so much. I've looked and looked and looked and looked. Nah, all your trim and stuff is decided by computers. And BlackRock could be controlling that. We could go rabbit hole on that. If there's a super D-Wave computer, is the only thing capable of doing all those calculations and to manipulate that weather. Because what you do down here with a big beam is going to affect the northern hemisphere. This one's next to that one. These pressures all interact with each other. And only a D-Wave could keep up with that. And it could give those instructions. It could have the back doors into your radars. I don't think there's a smart enough dude in the world that said, we'll put that beam on just now. And it's going to stay down here in Auckland. They're going to block the strait. But I know they need to do that to hold the storm off that's going on now. It's going to be hanging out for days. It ain't going nowhere. It can't. It should have crushed the country, but sucked through Cooks, made a second low, and on where she should have went. But they're holding it up at high. It's Geo Engineering, cut and dry. And boy, did you guys catch a big blast today. Yeah, it was. I haven't shown today's stuff yet, but I've got a big little hint at it. Are you guys screaming for a Nuremberg? What happened last time? They bent the paper clip, and here we are. Fourth Industrial Revolution with a master plan. Hey, obviously depopulating and scorching the earth. Instead of, they always rebuild by burning everything down. Well, the only thing left of London after the war is the front of the buildings. It's all steel frame construction behind it. No, they built back new because somebody needed the money. Like somebody was saying, somebody's going to make money on bridges, construction. Who's going to make the concrete? Well, were they so ready for this bridge at Fitzroy Crest in Australia immediately after? Oh, we had all the aggregate and everything to make one's all ready to go. Yeah, right. Who placed that order ahead of time? Or is that part of emergency planning? Yeah, I'd like to know these things. What happened to the flood studies that disappeared from 2019 down there in Wollongong? We went looking for them. They're gone. Yeah, because I mentioned them. Boom, that's off the site. Why? Because they said it was a danger. They want new power plants. They want new dams. They want blocks in front of your rivers. And so the sea can't even go inland and bless your wetlands anymore. Oh my gosh, what they want. You guys got what? How many more meters of soil now settle across your valleys? Your floodplains are up now, there now. The riverbed is higher, and your dams ain't gonna take this. Your berms ain't gonna take this. And to blame a storm on not letting out water during the storm, they had to let that out. When I was screaming for a week ahead of time, you better start letting them dams out now. You ain't gonna handle this water that's coming. And it's coming again. You got 2 big batches coming. February, it's May the 4th, fairly specifically that night. That big tendrils come. That big one that's hovered there, she's coming over. And she's gonna sit. Yeah, I'm watching.
Can I ask?
Go for it.
I have an English teacher. I actually live in Asia. I haven't been back to New Zealand for a while now. But when I was now I'm living in Vietnam, but I was also living in China and Japan. When I was living in China, the city next to us, we used to go over a bridge sometime to get to my friend's place. We used to go over a bridge, and over that bridge, like it was like like one of those advanced adult word finders, with the grid, complete grid system, and you have to search the word. It was kind of like that's how extensive they were, but just one particular area. Why do you think they target just one particular area? Well, what's the deal with that? And this is airplane driven. You can see the plane going back and forth. You can see it going back and forth, and then they go across like that. Like they would spend a good morning at it. And I've actually got a few photographs of it as well. They're not very good quality anymore because they're a copy of a copy of a copy.
I do see the flight tracker, what you guys call crazy flight patterns, all the time, and a lot of them it's just aerial survey for minerals and what's underneath your head, so we could pinpoint accurately, burn you out a laser, possibly, get that treatment, or they know which area gets the special treatment. Where to put that flood there? It's very specific. I could put a bomb over the top of a moisture-laden cloud, condenses all the particles together so they're heavy enough to fall. It's called punching a cloud. Yeah, I could pinpoint rain you. I could put a laser duct down from above or below and draw a lightning bolt down. Or even talking now about lightning rods made of pulse lasers. Yeah, we see them in some big cities. They're already out there. Now it's a lightning rod. It's called a duct. And a chemtrail is also a big wire. There's a lot of things you got to keep in your head. At the end of the day, that's falling out, right? You left the country, so that must be breaking your heart for sitting over there watching that.
Well, yeah. Well, I actually, I was coming back from work one night, and I heard this humming sound in the air. And I was like, "What the heck is that?" And I saw the thing flying around, a couple of things, and one they looked like kites. And I actually recorded them. Very, very poor footage. Put it on my YouTube channel. But while this thing was humming, there was like a frequency, a harmonic frequency. These things were tied down to a ute, and there were 2 or 3 of them, all like this. And they all had different frequencies. And I saw the excitement of the electricity across in the distance. You could see them all sparking off, firing off. And this was the electronic version of it. But here in the group is a lady called Liz Gunn, you're probably familiar with, and I'm wondering if she would like to.
Looking forward to her interaction.
Yeah. I'm wondering if she's available. Liz, are you available?
Yeah, she's one of the few people I would have done an interview with.
I would love to do an interview with you, Robert.
I'd love
to.
Yeah, I don't trust too many anymore. This is very rare for me to do. I don't need to. I get enough proof. Wait, I'm gonna bring this home a little bit. Yeah, I posted a Siggy Line 111 document over into the chat and the meeting chat that talks about the Geo Engineering governance. It's a long document with lots of things underneath to look at, all done by peers that back up their statement, including congressional hearings in the United States going back to before 2010, where they use geoengineering. They talk about chemicals in the sky, making clouds. And then they have psyops out there. How are we going to convince them? And even in that document, if you read it over, it talks about the dialectic, the hedges of how the problem reaction solution solve this. How can we motivate groups? How can we make people want this? You know, those school strikes y'all had was pushing for this Paris Agreement. You were pushing for your old poison and didn't even know it. I admire the activism of the youth. Thank you for standing up. You know, I know one day I'm going to take the big lay down, and it's nice to know other people are standing and all, but watch how you be guided. It's why I don't interview much. It's why I don't take money. The Kohio only. You ain't going to be home. Oh, I gave you a donation. You said something I don't like. Now go stuff yourself. I ain't got time for that. Everybody telling everybody else what they could say and do is what God is, so we can't sit here right now and talk. All right, without somebody says triggering you about a psyop you don't believe in. Right now, whether you believe it in or not, the stuff in the sky could kill you. Everybody says, oh, we fight a vaccine, fight this. Well, this is kicking down your door with nanoparticles coming in without your permission. It's settling all your food and water. It's easy to prove it's going on. It's all being funded privately. There's one group of guys, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation from out of Harvard, has funded the geoengineering program fairly open-walleted. Okay, Dr. Keith, he did all the experiments with loan, releasing particles, and I watched it. I see the deployments. You don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. I ain't an idiot. I know firework when I see it. Because I look at fireworks shows. Well, you go look at your New Year's Eve, see what the fireworks look like on a satellite. Right? What's left behind? Looks just like your skies. It's just like, right? Come on. You know the difference between a turd and chocolate, don't you? You might not, if it's 10 miles in the sky. You guys talk about the fallout in your rain. Well, they tell you they put chaff. So what's around that? Right? What is that particle doing that my man over here found in his water yesterday? Now, I know what the pH readings are, and I'm not picking up just acid. I'm picking up both. Sometimes it's alkaline. So you got to know, when are they bicarbonate? Aluminum hydroxide. You got to know when they're changing. And you need a lot of different dynamics. There was a guy, he was known as the Godfather of Heart, Billy Hayes. I used to have a lot of conversations with him about the mix, and he claimed there's over 100 layers up there, settling like you pour drinks in a glass and the colors separate. It will viscosity. Some of that red rain you're seeing could very well be fire retardant. It acts like it. I'm checking it. It's the only thing I could think it is without expensive chemical analysis from a laboratory that's owned by our oppressors that cook the books of the data of saying it's a hot day when it's cold. You know, see such, the people screaming for a Nuremberg? No. Posse. Come to your tatas. They fire the kids in front of the state houses with microwave weapons when you protest that things ain't fair. And those kids had death sentence. They do. It's so sad. And on the holidays, even you celebrate the resurrection of your God. They spray you like freaking bugs that day. And so when you're out in the graveyard, just seeing your Winona, you're copping it. And it's every day. It is being done by a couple individuals with a bottomless wallet. They want trillions of dollars. At last check, it was 15 plus trillions. And Al Gore and them want to administrate this fund. Only usually keep about 90% of that. And that's not even asking for $1 billion. It's $1 billion each one of those. You think that billionaire won't spend money to get $1 trillion? Oh, they're gagging at this one. This is huge. We got to stop that. Acid rain is going to dissolve all the coral. It's going to kill your freaking gardens and make you dependent upon the state for every little bit of soil and green you get. You talk about eating parasitic crickets and all this crap. Well, meanwhile, I looked at your satellite image earlier. It's nothing but a crime scene. When was the last time you had a sunny day to dry out your molds that you're breathing while they blame something else or test a vaccine for asthma that they've induced with acids it's absolutely conflicting with mucosal binders and absolutely toxifying. You have to excuse me, I'm getting upset. And you're not done with your weather yet. I know I got another month of this shit that's going to hit you guys, Collins. Go ahead, Liz.
Robert, one of the ways to stop these mad people is to get the people waking up, to get enough people waking up, which, you know, baby Will, we really got a lot of the world population on side. That gave them a fright. So I'm thinking here, what we most need is people who are working inside, a whistleblower or 2 or 3. If we could get somebody who's putting together these concoctions or working with the government and the instructions of these illicit people, the gates. Have we had anything like that? Anything approximating that? Anyone who's so disgusted at what the Gates Foundation are doing that they've been willing to talk? Has that happened yet?
I see nothing visible. I see smoke and mirrors, Liz, and a bunch of smoke blowing up our ass about happiness. All these children released from dumps. Now, one parent said, thank you. I've got my kid back. All these millions, come on, wake up, people. You are the solution. You're right there. Every one of you out there watching, you're the fucking solution. If you're sitting around waiting for a fucking savior, you better look in the mirror. Because it seems like an every man for yourself situation is going bad. And it's time for us to join hands.
So the people who are putting together these concoctions, the people who are putting them in planes and doing this, have we had any whistleblowers as far as you know?
None that I've ever trusted. Every one of them would use their pilot thing to add validity to the fact that they don't think chemtrails is real or something. I've had none of them with honesty that I trust. I have to use the word that I trust. And some might trust other people. But you never know what lodge somebody goes to. They're never allowed to talk about, right? They're told to manipulate things, or what's beamed into their heads through the stinger devices and stuff that my man over here was mentioning earlier. They can control thoughts, dreams, and shit like this. You got to know your own voice in your head these days. And I don't think it's going to be a peaceful solution. It's going to fix this shit. I think sitting on our ass has done too much harm. Or killing our children. Self-defense is a right of every one of us. And talk is cheap. It fucking is. And I don't care about waking anybody up anymore. I'll take them out of the burning house and they'll wake up on the side of the road. I got work to do. I get document after document I can prove this stuff with. You deny that after sitting next to me for 15 minutes? Yeah, you just forgot it. You just ego-hated, never will admit you were narcissistic, kill my planet before because you'd rather be right than wrong. Because you was told 3 + 3 equaled 150, and you got a book that said so you're right. But at the end of the day, this plus this still can equal this, right? Oneness has to happen. It really does. Hey, I'm a bit of a seditious subversive, and I'm unseducibly seditious. I've had enough. This world has took everything from me. I'm gonna give my everything to it. To have it go toward how I want to see it. I don't want to see these boom boom plumes no more. I don't want to see acid dissolving coral that tell us we're bleaching it. I don't want to see Big EMF blasting me saying that's not going to be good for that area, and then the beach is covered with whales the next morning exactly where I point. Yeah, I must know something. But yet I don't. Right? You get told because you didn't go to the cream of the crap university that you're full of cream of crap. They say bullshit today. Newton's apple was full of shit, blinding people. It did. If Newton was smart, he would have told you about the apple seed. Yeah, what it could do for our health. But when industries are bent on sickness, and there's a type of people out there that feed off our negative energy. Everybody's got a different word for it. They keep you low vibe. Their orchestratic 440 hertz bullshit. We don't get our 783 beautiful Schumann resonance. So we have solutions of people that are to come bring it back home to you. They've come up with stuff like this to put in our pocket. Hey, so we can put that right at us. They designed all our buildings to be big, huge, freaking actual blockers of the Schumann resonance. You get a grid already of metal frame homes, all with distance insulations and stuff. And meanwhile, you're just not getting a song of the universe. You're getting a song of the tall, live vision bullshit. And you wonder why shit's gone bad. And I watch them draw magic symbols in the sky and get told I'm crazy. I said, no, I'm not. You got Satanist churches out there putting the bathroom right in front of state houses. I don't think I'm making that up. I've got people out there, grown men showing their testicles to children in a library saying they're a woman. No, I'm sorry. You were not doing that. That's inappropriate. No. At cabaret, keep it in the adult X-rated clubs where they belong. But at the end of the day, we got to all breathe this air, including them, who have military-style air filtration systems, EMF blocking devices we only dream about, because they can privately fund the one scientist that knows and buy his stuff so only he can work with them. I see what goes on. At the end of the day, there are some beautiful souls out there doing some great work. Of that, I am absolutely convinced. And call it of Jesus, Buddha, this and that. All I know is one just got some tests for us. It puts it in front of us every day. And today, one just said, come chat with Joe. Rod, I hadn't heard you say anything. I'm very curious what you got to say. And we'll bring it over to this other last over here. I heard her say, Miss Project House. Yeah, I'm just going to take her.
I'm Rod here. Yeah, hi. I've read a bit about black carbon being dropped on us. Are you aware of that? And what is it?
Very well aware of carbon black. Initially, it was coming out. They blamed carbon nanotubes. We could call them that. To say carbon black takes a lot of proof. And that was Konica Minolta and Fujitsu Siemens, which boiled down to IBM toner stuff that they use on copy machines. It'll actually go in the front of a plane. Now, you got so many layers of these atmospheres, like Billy was talking about, and there's so many layers of screens, that the shadow of this can go to that direction over there. You got to be very determinate with atmospheric conditions. Where's the sun? What are the shadow gains? Because shadows could go for miles. I show it all the time. Here's a rope of chem, and miles away, there's its shadow. And so it's altitude has a lot to do with things. I'm very aware of the carbon black. But to say something is graphene oxide requires a test. I call it carbon nanotubes. They admitted it's a byproduct of diesel. They were blaming trades and this as they were pushing their electric agenda. And they raped the earth and of course fire starters in everybody's garage in the form of lithium, which can't handle water. What possible? The Empress new clothes can't handle water, you know. But yeah, I'm aware of it. It's a difficult one to prove and would take, again, specialized scientific equipment that it's obtainable, but it's expensive. A scanning electron microscope will cost you about 10 grand. I'll use Russian one. I've looked. I knew somebody in the community that would probably do good work for us with it. It wouldn't be me. I know a lot of people, but he says it's his dream equipment to have. But would it kill us as soon as it arrived? I wonder, because we'd know the truth. Right? They took out Mike Morales. He's been showing the moon. Incredibly close up shots and stuff that look like bases and stuff. And he covered Geo. He died of brain cancer the other day. There's too many of us died of that one thing that are well aware of EMF. I don't keep no phone next to my ear. It's wired.
Yeah. So do you think that black carbon? Oh, sorry, Liz. Do you think that's
See the sun goes down, driving lights in hearts, counting trees around. This is our day to dream. My heart it's cursed with you. My heart is cursed with you.
Good afternoon, folks. It's 12:57 on the second day, 5th month, 2023.
There you go. I did it again. I got to remember to keep turning the audio on. Anyway, I'm live, so that's the situation that I have. Okay, so what I'm showing you now is Robert's most latest work, and you can see in the middle here, you can see there is a tear here. It looks like a tear. It's actually electromagnetic frequency, an EMF, and seems to be coming from somewhere in the area off Alaska. If it's not in the ocean, it might be coming from the similar area where HARP is actually located. It looks like it's not, but we do have an explanation. You can see that Robert has a lot of knowledge. He can just spit out facts one after another because he's been covering this for quite some time now. So let's check out the video and find out what he has discovered.
It's frying time for New Zealand. Look at this big blast that has come over you. I'm going to roll this. I'm going to give it to it on a couple different angles here. And here it comes, the big blaster. When it shuts off, there's a diamond shape here, left, right here. When it comes down, it's actually it's an interesting event, because if I go on the other view of the globe, you'll see the beam here, but it's not where it started. It started up near the Caspian Sea, right about here. And I'll show it to you right here. If you look up here, you'll see the beginning of this beam. It coming out. It looks like from somewhere down here, like Iran. I dare say it looks like an EMF blast is emitted from down here about Iran coming up. And I don't think it went unanswered. If an electronic device has been deployed like a dual weapon, what would it look like? What will we see? And so I'm going to go over what I've just seen with a full conspiracy mind of somebody who sees that there is no box to even think inside or outside of. So you see the beam there, right? We get some timestamps here. I'm going to keep moving this along. And it's jumping in, let's see, that's 15, 3-hour increments. Right, it went off. Just catch it there. Right, the beam is on. 3 hours later, it's off. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24.
I will leave the link.
27.
I will leave the link to this in the description box below. And it's time to go. And we'll be back very soon, this evening, with the final, looks like it's going to be 2 episodes now, perhaps. And in the meantime, let's leave. And don't forget, we have this event coming up. We are ready on May 20th. Okay, May 20th. So let's finish up here. I'm Jason Babbage, your host, and you're on State of the Nation.
Never before has the world been so aware of people and organizations trying to usher in a one world government where foreign billionaires control everything we do. We have a message for you power-hungry globalists. You overplayed your hand. We see you. We know your plans. And guess what?
We are winning. We are united. We are ready. See you on May 20th.
On that weekend, the Bilderberg Club are meeting in Lisbon, Portugal for their annual meeting. So we are meeting too. Freedom lovers all over the world will come together in their own country or travel to Lisbon to send a clear message.
A clear message indeed. Wow, the joys of doing live streams. Probably I've been taken off. Yeah.
Forced to choose between their job and trial drugs, cancelled, silenced, and bullied for asking questions. Now, in 2023, we're dealing with inflation we can't afford, rising energy prices, climate change propaganda, cancel culture and division, intrusive surveillance, and increasing death rates. You can threaten us as much as you want, but we have this message for you. We are many, we are united, and we are ready. Enough is enough. We are no longer afraid of you and your evil plans. So bring it on. Any group or person can host one of these events in their city. You can also help us spread the word or check to see if there's already an event in your area. Head to www.weareready.world for all the info.
With this feeling I can leave. I'm working and I'm